Have you ever been trapped in back-to-back meetings while your inbox is filling up and your to-do list keeps growing by the minute, and all this is happening while your personal life and your personal health start to take a seat on the back burner? Well, in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about the number one thing that could be diminishing your health and killing your career success. What up, and welcome to the Healthy Deposits Podcast, where I help you break down the holistic connection between your brain, your body, and your business so you can max out in life personally and professionally. So in today's episode, I'm going to reveal one of the most common hidden adversaries in your professional lives. I like to call it corporate comfort. Now what happens with corporate comfort is it's real sneaky and it creeps up on you. That's what makes it so dangerous, man. You get promoted, you literally get a corner office, right? Corporate comfort starts to creep into your office because now we're sitting back in that big plush chair that comes with all of the stress. Or let's say you got a real fly desk set up, you got your dual monitors. Corporate comfort is sitting there behind your dual monitors, right? You ain't had to pay for that. The company put you up on those, right? You just ordering top of the line tech gear, whatever you need, man. Headphones, all types of random tricks and trinkets at your desk. All of those things, right? Because now you're a project manager, you're a lead, you got a team of employees who work under you. And along with that comes a lot more stress. Now don't get me wrong, when you start to gain more responsibility, your risk management becomes a bit more weighted and it's a lot more things you're responsible for, and stress comes along with that. But it doesn't mean it should be so much stress that it starts to wear and tear on your health. So whether you believe it or not, or whether you like it or not, corporate comfort will catch up to you at some point if you keep ascending and growing in your career. And if you're like most ambitious men, then you're probably trying to grow and advance in your career. And corporate comfort can take hold unless you're aware of a lot of the symptoms. So we're going to run through a quick list of some of the symptoms, some of the negative adverse effects that corporate comfort can have on you. And we're going to start out with the one that's most obvious, and that's physical health, right? Your physical health starts to diminish. So because we have jobs that are demanding and we're kind of sitting most of the time, we start to develop an unnatural sedentary lifestyle. The studies show that most people who work desk jobs sit at their desk for 70% or spend 70% of their time seated. So if you work 8 hours a day, or you pull up to the office, or you got a home office and you working 8 hours a day, about 5.5 of those hours you're seated. That's more than the majority of time. That doesn't even account for the amount of time you spend seated during your commute to work or when you get home from work, right? Especially if you're not active. Now I believe that sitting over long periods of time is not a natural or very natural position for humans. We didn't really evolve to sit for long periods of time. I think we evolved to walk, stand, run, lay, crawl, squat, right? So those are some basic movements that we all do that kind of kept us in shape over all these many thousands of years, right? But sitting, right, which is kind of halfway between the squat and the stand for long periods of time, is not something that's very natural to us. And that's when we start to get all those aches and pains in our lower back, in our knees, our ankles, even in our shoulders, right? All along our posterior chain, we get all types of aches and pains because sitting for long periods of time, 70% of the day or 70% of your work hours, is just unnatural. On top of that, you're grabbing a bunch of unhealthy foods, you're grabbing a bunch of snacks on the go, you're starting to stress eat, you're eating a lot of chips, random stuff at your desk, or you work throughout the day, you skip lunch or you forget lunch because things just is way too crazy going on in the office, right? And so you end up getting home late or you end up going out to dinner and then you're eating late, 8, 9, possibly 10 o'clock, and then you're either immediately going to sleep and now you're not really digesting your food well, or you eat late and then you stay up late, so now you're not really getting the rest you need. When you turn around, you wake up and you do it all over again. And so what does that look like long term, right? Over the course of a career like what we're talking about, even within 1 year, it can show up as weight gain, it's disrupted sleep, which impairs your cognitive function. So you start to have more brain fog, you start to have more mood swings, you lack clarity. Then it can start to build up into chronic health issues like high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. We talked about cognitive function. So over a longer period of time, you could develop something like Alzheimer's because you're not getting proper brain health, right? Dementia even, or even worse, you could develop some kind of cancer. And so another way that corporate comfort shows up is it has a very impactful mental and emotional toll, right? So you take a step up into your career, you got some new projects, new things you're working on, and then immediately stress and anxiety show up. The feeling of overwhelm show up, especially if you don't have, say, proper training, you don't have the right guidance, or you take on some responsibilities that include coworkers who have erratic behavior, whatever the case may be, right? You just got to deal with new people who you're just not very familiar with, and you start to get overwhelmed, you start to have anxiety, and it's really taxing. It starts to slow you down, you start to feel emotionally unstable because you got to figure out how to actually execute at a high level, and how you got to manage all of this new stuff. And so over time, certain things start to happen where maybe you feel a bit detached from your work, right? You don't enjoy it the way you used to before you got promoted, or before you started advancing in your career, before you started making more money to solve bigger problems. Or on the other hand, on the flip side, maybe your energy doesn't decrease, but it starts to go up. But it goes up in an erratic way where you're like almost like a ticking time bomb, and you're ready to just snap on one of your employees because they hitting you with some wild passive aggressive email, or passive aggressive I am, per the email below, or as I said in the previous. Then you hear that, what I'm saying? When you see them at the water cooler, you see them in the break room, it's a thing. It's tension and all that type of stuff. So the stress and mental toll that comes along with corporate comfort is real. We always justify it by saying, I'm getting paid more. It come with the 6-figure salary. All the while, you losing handle on your emotional and mental stability. And so another way corporate comfort shows up in your life is major. This is something that I actually dealt with, and that's burnout and fatigue. According to Psychology Today, 52% of U.S. workers say they experience burnout, and that's up 9% from pre-COVID numbers, which is pretty weird, or not expected, I'd say, because pre-COVID, people worked in the office where you actually have to deal with more people face-to-face interactions. That could be a bit more stressful. But now people are home where you think they'd be a lot more comfortable. But that's why it's called corporate comfort, because it's deceiving, it's tricky. You home, you think you got more leeway to do more of the things you want to, but it really starts to weigh in and you start to get burned out. And a lot of people think burnout comes from just having too much to do. Burnout really comes from chronic stress. It comes from having too much stress. And that stress a lot of times comes from unfinished projects, too many open loops, lack of decision making, which is something to be really aware of, because lack of decision making comes from lack of clarity, which leads to more lack of decisions being made. And it's just like a sticky cycle. You keep going back and forth, and you never it takes a lot for you to get out of that loop. And so there are 3 major factors that are connected to burnout, right? Exhaustion, for sure. That's why you always see burnout and fatigue. So exhaustion, for sure. Cynicism, and you start to feel a sense of ineffectiveness. Now, I'm going to tell you how this happened, how this really showed up in my life. I'm still working for the government in an open good parting company, which is my plant-based health cafe. In year 2, well, technically year 3, in 2022, I'm dealing with a lot more traffic, so it's good, right? That's a good problem to have. We got a lot more sales, a lot more customers. But I'm just getting acclimated again to advancement in my career. I'm just getting acclimated to all of this traffic while still learning how to manage employees, how to manage my relationship with Johns Hopkins, how to manage my relationship with the vendors. But at the same time, I'm still working full time for Uncle Sam. And so not only am I exhausted, I'm stretching myself too thin. I have a lot of things that need to get taken care of. I need to respond to emails for my day job. I gotta keep an eye out for instant messages whenever we're having Zoom meetings. In between me making smoothies, then I got a project to finish at work. I got cases to finish. I got things to get back to people on, follow-up emails for questions that I have that I need to figure out for other people. Now, granted, I don't have to take any of this work home per se, right? I'm working remotely, but it's not stuff I have to do off the clock. But off the clock, I have to run payroll, right? So I gotta figure out how to get that done. I gotta work on some marketing copy, figure out how to get that done. I gotta oversee some graphics getting done, figure out how to get that done. All these things need to get done, and there's only but so many hours in a day. There's only one me. I haven't trained anybody to take care of these things. And so now, some of these things I'm dropping the ball on, and I'm getting burnt out. Ultimately, I get really sick in April 2022, or January, March. So somewhere around March or April, I get sick for like a week or so. And that's when I really decided, like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Something got to give. I got to let go of that 80% that's holding me back, focus on the 20%, which is good part and company, and really ride that out into the future. And so, one, it exhausted me. I felt absolutely ineffective as an owner and manager for Good Part and Company. And then the cynicism set in because I started to look around and I'm thinking like everybody, I'm just skeptical of everybody, like nobody really supported me, nobody really got my back other than probably the two closest people to me, right? My mom and my lady. But like my team got my back, but I don't really know where they at. Cause I'm like, they just want to make sure they get paid. They think it's just too many, they taking too many orders. They feel like they getting burnt out, but they getting overpaid. From my point of view, they getting overpaid, but I'm like, yeah, they don't really appreciate how much I pay them versus how much they get paid. So much it's wild in my mind out, and all of these things is happening. I'm just like, yo, my body just shut down. One day I came home from work, I laid on the couch, and I couldn't get up for like 6 days. Literally, it was bad, man. It was bad. And during that time, like, thank God I actually had time to take off from my full-time job, but I felt that's where the sense of ineffectiveness came in because I felt like I let my team down and I felt horrible because I couldn't even go in to the cafe. And so because I was making money on both ends, right, I'm advanced enough in my full-time job, but I'm advancing in entrepreneurship. I think I'm getting comfortable. I'm making some money, or at least I'm not having any money problems, but it wore me out. And so according to Harvard Law Review, here are some symptoms to help you understand and identify if you're dealing with burnout or chronic fatigue. Digestive issues like heartburn or flatulence, diarrhea, constipation, just overall just not feeling well in the gut, elevated blood pressure, chest pains, heart disease, immune problems. That's what I dealt with. That's why like my immune system was definitely weak, definitely broke down, and I got sick. Random skin conditions, rashes, acne, right, stress bumps, those types of things happen often. A lot of muscular pain and tension. You could have your sleep disrupted often. You could develop some level of insomnia. You could have some level of infertility or stress. It impacts men and women, but it shows up in guys as erectile dysfunction because really it's the nerves. Your blood flow is all messed up. You got high blood pressure. Your blood doesn't really do what it's supposed to do when it's time to do it, right? And then of course there's anxiety and depression. And so another way corporate comfort grabs hold of you and take control and mess up a whole lot of stuff going on in your life is the impact on your personal relationships. Now you really think about it, you're not in this great physical health. That kind of impacts your mind, your self-esteem sometimes. You don't have the best mental and emotional stability, right? You might be moody, you might lack energy and you're just not showing up, burnout and fatigue, right? So now all of these things are impacting your personal relationships where you're not showing up as the person you used to be. And if you're feeling any level of burnout and that cynicism start kicking in, you start to think about what everybody else is thinking in terms of how they're looking at you. But really, it's you that's not showing up well. So you think they don't rock with you like that no more. They don't understand what you're going through. They don't got your back. And you're treating them as if they're treating you that way. And they're really not, right? They just want you to show up the way that you used to be. The way that this impacted my relationships was you miss out on a whole lot of fun events. The people closest to you don't really understand what you got going on. They don't dislike it. They don't dislike you. They just don't really understand. You miss out. And for me, I was really close to my friends. So I had a level of separation anxiety to where I just really didn't know how to, I got along well, by myself just due to the way that I grew up. But at the same time, I felt like I lost a lot of myself because a lot of my identity was tied up into how or what my position was with my friends, which in some cases may not necessarily be a healthy thing, but it's definitely a thing that you're used to. And then when you break that, that's when you start to feel either anxious or depressed because you don't know the feeling that you have. You just know that you feel a lot of loss and it's impacting your personal relationships. So when you come back around, they don't understand who and how you are, and you don't understand who and how they are. There was one period in time where I worked every Saturday for 14 weeks straight. So I worked Monday through Friday, just like everybody else, and every Saturday for 14 weeks straight. And we got overtime. Our overtime was on Saturday and Sunday. So I worked 4 hours on some of those Sundays as well. So I'm basically working 3.5 months every day for about 7 days out of 3.5 months. I actually didn't work. So I'm missing like family meals, family get-togethers, all of that. Now, granted, I needed the money because I had some things going on in the background. The boy checked my checks was getting garnished, all types of wild stuff I gotta make up for bills for other people and all that type of stuff. And all the while, I'm trying to advance in my career. So I'm like, all right, if I can make more money, then I'm gonna be alright. But this is how it was impacting me, and I wasn't able to kick it with my friends. In some ways that was good, in some ways that was bad. But the people I actually love, like my family and stuff like that, I really felt bad about that. So corporate comfort kicks in. You start to make more money. You know what I'm saying? It start to make you feel like you're doing the right thing because your bank account is growing. But again, in the background, your health is starting to decline. And so with all this going on, if you become more aware of it, you're probably going to get like me and a lot of other guys out there who just get tired of it, right? You're like, yo, I didn't think my life was going to be like this. I thought it was going to be better when I started making more money. And honestly, your life can and will get better when you start making more money, but it only happens if you start to take better care of yourself, right? Don't just try to take better care of your bank account. You're not just living to pay off bills, right? That's a very middle class mindset, and it's not that it's wrong. That's just not what money is all about. You really got to have an abundant mindset to understand that the energy that's coming to and through you is so that you can grow, you can more fully express yourself, you can help others more fully express themselves, but that starts with taking care of yourself. And I'm gonna tell you what I've really realized. At year 8 in my 14-year career with the government, I was like, I thought that me and my friends would have our own club, right? That was what our first business was about. I thought we was gonna have our own club by then. That didn't go as planned, so I tried to figure out another way to really kind of break out of, escape the rat race, right? The corporate comfort got me. I'm talking about I got benefits. I done had Invisalign, braces, you know what I'm saying? All that good stuff flowing through. I'm starting to understand what my benefits do. I'm checking out my 401k. I'm starting to see that run up. And I'm like, well, I ain't really going to mess this up. But in that year 8, I realized I did not have an exit plan by year 10 because I just didn't do anything. I thought at 10 years I was probably going to be out of there, and I wasn't. And so I started to look up, and I'm like, damn, this person got this position over me. This person got this position over me. It took me 4 to 5 years before I even started getting bonuses. That was another thing that kept me comfortable, right? Getting the bonuses. But when I started realizing that, I was like, okay, it's either I'm going to work my way up through here, or I'm going to utilize the gifts and talents that I have the way I really want to, so I can go and really be happy and more fulfilled in my life. And so around year 10, I was like, all right, this thing didn't work. Let me try this. So I tried something else in business. That thing didn't work the way I wanted to. Let me really go and figure out how business works. And once that happened, I had some time to sit back and chill. And I was like, you know what? It's not that just 9 to 5 stuff is whack. This level of this comfort is what's really making me not go hard. See, before I wasn't really that comfortable. I was also young. I had a lot more energy, right? I was in my 20s. But I was uncomfortable because I just didn't like my stature in the world. Like, I needed to come up. I needed to make some stuff happen. And I proved that through my first business with my friends. But at this point, I'm in my mid to late 30s. And I'm just jive comfortable. And it just started to weigh on me, man. Like, I went through a stretch where I gained about 15 pounds. And it wasn't super noticeable because like I always wore like overcoats and all this and that. And I sat in a cubicle. Nobody could really see me anyway. I just told you I wasn't seeing my friends. They couldn't tell, but I could tell. So I'm like, all right, I'm gaining weight. I ain't out and about. I ain't really making a whole lot of moves. And basically, I started to dislike the job or dislike how I felt being stuck in my cubicle, being, spoon-fed these overtime hours. I started to dislike that so much that it just made me figure out what I had to do to get better. And it wasn't just figure out business. I had to figure out how to take care of myself. I had to shake down off that extra 15 pounds, get my energy up, start waking up early, start doing stuff for me before I even went to work. That was really me paying myself first. I was waiting on them to pay me, but what I really need to do is pay myself first. Invest in myself by figuring out a little more business, by waking up early, doing some stretching, going running, really getting into my bag, like joining my running group, turning up the running group, designing for the running group, doing things that just made me feel better about myself. The whole point of that is to say that corporate comfort shit really wore me down. It had me burned out, stressed out, gaining weight, feeling weird all about myself, and I ain't want to deal with it no more. So I figured out a way to overcome that, and that was through getting into my holistic health bag. I changed my diet. I went plant-based, and from there I started to just learn more about the plant-based lifestyle that I'm always talking about. And even if that's not for everybody else, doing what you need to do to improve your health is really going to make you feel more fulfilled, because you know you're the kind of guy who does the things to take care of himself. And so now I just broke down all the doom and gloom that come with corporate comfort. And it's a real force, man. Sometimes people call it golden handcuffs or whatever the case may be. But once your salary start ticking up, you start to like that, because you don't know if you can just go anywhere else and get that. And the way that society kind of conditions us is like, yo, the American dream, or you're kind of in a certain top tier percent if you're making that much money, and that's fine. But are you really in control of how your life is? See, that's why corporate comfort is like an evil villain, because what the evil villains do is they trick you into thinking that you're making these decisions for yourself, when really you just playing into their hands. And so in this case, I was playing into the hands of my government position. You gotta think, I'm from the Mid-Atlantic. I'm from Baltimore, and it's close to DC. And around here, there are a lot of government jobs. So you get a government job, and I'm sure in a lot of other states, you get a state job or a city job. You can be straight forever. I got a federal job. I can navigate between multiple types of agencies if I wanted to. And everybody tells you don't give that up. And to a certain degree, most people would never give that up. And you kind of almost got to be a little out of your mind to just give that up to go pursue what? Like, you can get the right salary and all the benefits. And you can possibly get close to doing something that you actually like within the government. But if you know you're not fulfilled, you know it's a lot more out there for you to do, a lot more for you out there to get. You could possibly excel in whatever job you have, but you got to take care of yourself first, and you got to acknowledge what's holding you back from taking care of yourself, and that's corporate comfort. And so I'm urging you to reject that comfort. I'm not saying reject the higher salary. I'm telling you not to rely on that as the only thing that makes you who you are. You got to determine that for yourself, and you do that by doing things for yourself early and often. You can't just kick back and be a cog in the machine. You can have a corporate career. You can have a career you can have a career in coding. You can have any kind of advancing career, because we're advancing men, we're ambitious men, we want to make things happen. But we can't let that dictate our relationships. We can't let that help make us fall into the trap of chronic disease. We can't let that make us fall into a sedentary lifestyle where we're not mobile, where our muscle definition is falling off, and all of a sudden we feel weak. We ain't feeling good. Yo, it's so many guys who struggle with things that they don't want to talk about that are under 50, right? Bare bellies and this and that, and anytime your blood pressure not right, your reproductive situation ain't right either. Like, it's just the truth. And I'm mentioning it because you don't understand that that somebody got to talk about it, because guys is really dealing with it. And guys low-key be coming through the cafe and they ask you, what you got for energy, what you got for blood flow, this and that. They don't really want to say what it is, but like, that's one of the things that's coming up, a lot when you get around that age where you start making more money, right? 35, the late 30s, 40s, mid 40s or whatever. Those types of things start happening, and they kind of coincide because of corporate comfort, because of the space that you're in financially, but also health-wise for a lot of men. My whole point is take control of your personal health, manage your personal health a lot better. Now, if you do recognize any of these effects from corporate comfort, you're in the right place, because I'm about to tell you how you can begin to overcome that corporate comfort. Keep it out your life. It don't mean you're going to give up your corporate job or whatever kind of nice job you possibly have, whatever high earning position you have. I'm not saying give that up, but I am going to give you some tips on how you can maintain and boost your health, right? And get back vibrant, get back enthusiastic, get back focused, and get back healthy and back on your path. Now, the way I approach it and the way I put it all together is that guys need a system. Like, men like things that work. Men err on the side of logic. So logistics works well. If you can tell me 1 + 1 = 2 and I can always do that, I'm going to always stay as close to that as possible. Even for creatives, creativity is best shown within constraints because it makes you have to solve problems. So put together a system. Within the system is going to help you solve all of these health problems. This system, to me, the way I found a way to help myself and others is through a holistic approach. Now, I'm going to show you a diagram, and this diagram is going to break down all three of the core health pillars that I kind of built the system around, and then now you can build a system around to help you improve your health, improve your energy, improve your performance, and stay away from corporate comfort. All right, so boom. The holistic health system, my holistic approach, focuses on three core pillars: fitness, nutrition, mindset, and stress management, right? Mental hygiene is that whole thing. It starts with fitness. Now, I would like to think that most of us understand what staying fit is. It's different for everybody, but what I can say for business professional is that we don't need to go and be built like a bodybuilder. That's not the performance that we really on right now. Like, that's not the performance that's going to optimize our lifestyle. The muscle that we're using the most is our brain, right? The muscle that we're using the most is our brain, quote unquote, because we know our brain isn't the muscle, but that's what we're using. That's our core piece of equipment for performance and to keep the checks rolling in, right? Not our muscles, but it's great for men to have muscle mass. So what you really want to think about when it comes to fitness is just the ability for your body to perform in the way you want in a pain-free way, okay? So you want to keep the body fat down, okay? You want to keep your muscle mass up, and you do that through great exercise. Now, again, like I said, fitness looks different for everybody, but you want to just be able to move, and you want your body to be able to function. You want to be able to definitely avoid and get rid of all of the back pains you may have, all of the hip pain you may have, all of that type of stuff, right? Gotta get hip replacements. You ain't even play no sports. You ain't play no pro sports. Why are you getting a hip replacement? It's because you didn't use your body and move your body the way you should during your physical peak, right? During your physical prime. So fitness is where it all starts. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm jumping in real quick, taking a break from the episode to talk to you about the number one thing that I know will help you improve your holistic health, improve your performance, improve your energy and your mental clarity, and that is fitness. Why fitness? Because good health follows good fitness. I always say it's the first step because it helps make all the other healthy decisions that you have to make a lot easier. I got the perfect thing for you. I put together a fitness for professionals protocol that you can use at home, and we rely on a special little protocol that many of us know and love called HIIT training, right? High intensity interval training. It's quick, it's to the point, it's going to help you burn calories, get your heart rate up, get those endorphins pumping. But a lot of times people don't know how to get it done. So I put together guided exercises for you and also some prompts and protocols that you can put in place so you can actually have a framework for how you can achieve great fitness results. Because that's the thing. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to know what steps to take to get there. So I'm here to help you out. If you're interested in getting the Fitness for Professionals protocol, the link will be in the description of this video, or if you're listening to an audio podcast, it'll be in the description on the podcast. Now let's get back to the episode. Because I always say good health follows good fitness. It all flows downstream from having the good fitness routine. If you get in the habit of having the good fitness routine, all healthy decisions get easier after that because you want to support the kind of person that you said you was when you did that workout. You worked hard, you made all these gains, you done sweat, you done bust your ass, you done got some weights up or whatever you did, ran some miles. You don't want to ruin that. And so your brain is going to start to kick in to say, hey, eat better. Hey, you're physically going to be tired and like, hey, get more rest. Because if you get more rest, then your muscles can build and grow and they can really start to see some positive effects on the exercises, right? So, boom, we're going to start with fitness, right? Now, we go over here to nutrition because nutrition is what supports performance on all levels. It doesn't matter what you actually do in the world. There's a diet that's going to best suit you and the performance and the outcomes that you want. When it comes to busy professionals, you should probably be eating a lean diet. You don't have to, you can do what you want. All right. I'll tell you what works for most of us. A plant-forward diet is really healthy, especially when you're sitting for a long time, because you don't want to consume a whole lot of calories because your ass is sedentary. I just said it. We sitting for 70% of the time that we at work. So unless you're going to be really active, you probably don't want to have a lot of sugary things and a lot of high carbs. And even with the protein is great, but you still need to move so that protein can convert into more muscle. So when it comes to nutrition, there is a diet that best supports the performance you want. You also want to eat a lot of things that are good. Why a plant-forward diet is helpful? Because it's really good for your gut and your digestion. And when your gut is good, your brain is good. The brain and belly connection is a big deal, right? So you want to have a good, well-balanced diet. When you put good fitness together and good nutrition together, you get what I have here. Peak physical performance. Your body can now move and operate and function in the way that you need day in and day out. You might be putting in 10, 12-hour days. Like I got friends and associates who working on the hardware side where they got to install all these computer setups for like big companies they got contracts for. But then I also got friends who do coding and they participate in hackathons and stuff like that. And it's not like all the time, and it's kind of fun. So there are going to be days where they're up coding for like 12, 14 hours, like all night long, those types of things. But then I got other friends, they got to read files and documents. They taking stuff home. They got to download stuff off the servers from their remote office and this and that. And it just get real. But when you got good fitness and good nutrition, you can actually do all of the things that you need to do to perform at the highest level and execute in your career. Then the next thing, which is kind of the first thing, is the mindset, right? If you got the mindset to go and exercise, you in good shape. But you still got to deal with your day-to-day, right? You're advancing in your career, so things are getting more hectic. So you got to have mindfulness techniques in place to manage stress, right? And you got to be aware of this, and you have to have a time and technique system set up. And what the time and technique system is certain times of the day, you have a certain mindfulness technique that you implement. So I'll give you an example. Time of the day, early in the morning. Let's say you go outside for a walk. You live by a park. I live near a park. I go outside for a walk down the block. 2 blocks over is the park. Boom, I'm at the park. I'm walking around in nature. I see little Bambi and them. The homies out there walking dogs. There's people outside bird watching. You know what I'm saying? If you live in a real busy city, maybe it's a park that they got secluded somewhere. And you just go for a walk. Or even if it's not even in the park, you just get outside. You get some sunlight, right? That's early in the day. Middle of the day. I talked about them passive aggressive emails. You got your goofy ass coworker doing stuff that we all know we ain't really trying to hit. Middle of the day, time and technique. My technique for the middle of the day, breathing exercise. Keep me calm, keep me in the right mental space so I don't gotta pull up on somebody and slap them with a keyboard or something, right? End of the day, that's the time. Technique might be meditation, right? Or another breath routine. But the time and technique, right? You think of the time of the day, what technique works for that? To keep your mind clear, to keep your stress down, keep you calm. When you combine having good stress management along with good nutrition, that gives you positive, focused energy. You got the energy from the food, right? You're eating the right food. Remember, food is fuel. Calories are a measure of energy, not a measure of weight. So you got the energy, you got a clear mind, you can stay focused, you can stay positive. When you got good stress management and good fitness, that's self-healing, because now you got the techniques in place to keep your mind clear, focus, keep your anxiety down. You got fitness, which is a really great way to manage your stress, because you can get some of that stress, you can work that off, right? You go to the gym, you start throwing up some weights, you go running, you can clear your mind then, you get the endorphins kick in, all of that good stuff. That's self-healing. But when you put all of these things together, you have the perfect holistic merger between fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, and stress management, right? That's the 360, right? That's the 360. That's the cipher complete. You know what I'm saying? Like the big homies would say from the Wu-Tang Clan. Now the cipher is complete because you're taking care of your mind and your body at the highest level. And that's going to get you major results. It's going to keep you out of that corporate comfort zone. It's going to keep you away from getting that beer belly, getting fat, hormones all out of whack. Nobody wants to work with a man who hormones is all out of whack. He moody, he don't know how to act, and he don't even know what the problem is. Your cortisol levels is high. It's causing you to eat all crazy. It's causing you to react all crazy. It's causing you to miss opportunities because you're not clear, you're not focused, you don't know what's going on. Your employees don't know how to respond to you. They not rocking with you. They don't want to follow the leader. All of this stuff starts to happen when you let the stress weigh in and take over and put your personal life and your health and your relationships all on the back burner. So listen, I encourage you to go reflect on your day to day, think back a few weeks, think about how you feel now, and see where corporate comfort has crept up into your life. Where is it taking a toll on your life, and where do you want to go, right? And then what can you do to work on it? What things can you clear up? What things can you strengthen? What things can you work on to really boost? So listen, I encourage you to take time to reflect on your current experiences in your current career, in your current profession, and see where corporate comfort has crept up into your life and had a negative impact. In the next few episodes, I'm going to dive deeper into that trifecta that I just broke down with fitness, nutrition, and stress management. And that's what we're going to talk about throughout many of the Healthy Deposit podcasts. But over the next few episodes, I'm going to take some deeper dives and kind of talk to you about that holistic blend that you put together where it works so well for men with demanding careers, because people not really tapped into where we at with it. You know what I mean? Like the way that the stress impacts us, the way that our day-to-day life operates. Like a lot of times everybody talking to us how you can make $10,000 in 5 minutes with the right such and such with AI. Or, you know, how you can eat this and get this much muscle and so, but they're not really speaking about how you got to wake up early, how waking up early is going to help you manage the things you need to manage, so that when those emails come rolling in, you already have a sense of calm, a sense of a poise, right? For you to take care of that and succeed with confidence, where everybody want to keep working with you, where the opportunities keep rolling in. That's what we need to talk about. So we're going to talk about more and about how fitness, nutrition, and stress management impacts all of those things. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're interested in checking out that document, you can see it on the video podcast. And if you're listening to this anywhere, all you got to do is find me on Instagram, Harkham Holistic. I can send you over the document that breaks down the connection between fitness, nutrition, and stress management. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I will catch you in the next episode.